So it's time, my friends. We have been building up to this ever since we have met each other. But it is time to take your favorite wrestler and decide what that means about you as a person. Don't get confused about this, it's basically science. So sit back, relax, and obviously get a pen to take some notes so you know how to operate your life going forward. My name is Simon Miller, and you bet your butt this is going to be ridiculous. Number 30, Kenny Omega. So is Kenny Omega one of the best wrestlers ever? I would say absolutely, and I think he's a generational talent. He has done things for pro wrestling that nobody else has ever done. You can also call him one of the best big match guys of all time because he never drops the ball. And given how Kenneth is, and I do love him so, if he is your favorite guy, I would imagine you're just a little bit hoity-toity. Because I bet you have a big old vocabulary and you use words like luxurious, even though luxurious isn't a word, but that's the point. You'll throw it out there because you hear Omega doing it, so damn it, I've got to do it too. That's why I adore you though, and bless you for doing all of this, because again, that's what we should do when we look at our heroes. I want to walk in their shoes. Definitely don't walk like this, you'll get arrested. Obviously, you have to get into fights constantly because people then will come back and say, but Kenny Omega's never been in WWE, so how can he the best? Have a great time. Number 29, John Cena. So this is a major reason I love pro wrestling, because John Cena too is one of the GOATs. WWE even calls him the GOAT, but he's a completely different operator to Kenny Omega. But we can just enjoy it all. Cena at his peak too was one of the most divisive wrestlers in history, but that did add to his aura. And I would guess if you are a fan of his, you may be a child. I don't mean literally right now, but I would bet when you were growing up, you were like 8 years old, and as much as you would cheer for Big Match John, you'd also get upset with all these adults sitting around. Why are you booing him? He just wants the best for all of us. But if you've been born 10 years prior, this is exactly how people felt about Stone Cold Steve Austin. And let's face it, you probably have an immature sense of humor, because John Cena once did write the word poopy on the side of a limo. This was meant to be funny. I would assume that your morals are on the right side of the fence though, because that was always Cena's big deal. No matter what happens, just keep on fighting. So this is actually better for the human race, even though you do enjoy the odd toilet joke here and there. But you do you, man, and all power to you. Number 28, CM Punk. So we are just on a roll now, because it's another GOAT contender. Obviously, CM Punk is a man that walks to his own drum. Throughout his career, he has made so much noise. You can't fault the outcomes. He's had a pretty damn good career. He is also all about emotions, so I'd imagine you are an emotional person too. Although, let's hope nobody says anything bad about you or defames you, because you may go up to them and punch them right in the face. You are so self-assured of yourself as well, though. You're like a Pied Piper in the sense that everybody follows you. Also, probably quite a captivating individual, because even the people that may not like your candidness, well, they're still going to want to hear you talk until the very end of time. Number 27, Rhea Ripley. Rhea is totally awesome because we got to see her evolve as a performer all the way from NXT, and what we see now on Monday Night Raw is obviously her true self. Although that sounds ridiculous, I just like it, man. She's comfortable in her own skin. Therefore, if Ripley is your choice, I hope you have followed in the same footsteps. Maybe once upon a time, you're like, man, I don't like where I am. But all of a sudden you realize you don't need to give a damn about everybody else, because you are enough and you are great. You're also pretty damn intimidating when you want to be, and you absolutely hate men called Dominic. And I would imagine by proxy, you also don't like weird old moustaches. You're also a trendsetter though, and eventually you are going to be sitting at the top of the mountain. And it's nice up there, so don't forget everybody else when you look on down. Number 26, MJF. MJF is incredibly talented. Some people seem to have forgotten this, but he's not even 30 years old, and he's already left his mark on the industry. I mean, that's some good going. Of course, he is loud and brash and a bit of an asshole and can be exceptionally rude. So if he is your favorite, you may be a prick too. And that's worrying for me because he's one of my guys. I have to go look at myself in the mirror. I bet you reply to social media posts as well with absolutely no regard. And you probably make a lot of offhanded comments about banging other people's girlfriends or boyfriends or their partners because you just don't care. You're also passionate though, and my gosh, do you believe in yourself. But maybe just be nicer to kids, man. And don't ruin Christmas for them. Number 25, Batista. What a dude Batista is, because Triple H talked about this recently in an interview. After he had left wrestling, he was essentially broke after making some bad investments. When he walked into Hollywood, became an actor, and made his fortune back, That's an incredible story. He's also hugely underrated as a WWE superstar because he was a barrel of fun. And actually, if Big Dave is your guy, I bet you just enjoy big dumb sports entertainment. And I mean that as a massive compliment. Dave also had so much more going for his game, and I guess he's a bit like the Rocky movies, in the sense the first one was like an art house flick that may have been a little bit too long, but then you get to Rocky 4, and it's just the best time you're ever gonna have in your life. These are the kind of things that Dave Batista brought to the business. You're also a very deep individual, because if you heard this guy talk, he is all about self-reflection. And actually, I would imagine deep down in your tum-tum, you're a pretty good person. Number 24, Mick Foley. So this is a good option, because if you do go for Mick, once again, you may be the nicest person on the planet. Because that is what every single person says about Michael. If I'm allowed to call him Michael, probably not. He is just the epitome of kindness. Of course, there is the 180 to all of this, because in the ring, he was dangerous, kind of explosive, and didn't care about his own personal well-being. So if that's the same for you too, my gosh, would you be careful? Maybe wrap yourself up in cotton wool. I would have to assume that you are super respectful and maybe even have too much love for others, because you are a sensitive soul. But then, yeah, you'll climb to the top of the house and you'll throw yourself off onto the floor below because you think that's a good idea. Listen, you may get a lot of views on YouTube, but actually you wouldn't in 2024 because people have said anything. So would you just think of your mother here and calm it all down? Number 23, Chris Jericho. Now, Chris Jericho really is one of the best of all time. I know his current AEW run divides people, but you do not get to the position he is without quite literally doing every single thing you possibly could do within wrestling. So I would suppose if you are still in Jericho's corner, you're probably a little bit of an older fan, and you're just all about the good old days and nostalgia. Because at this point, you could have been supporting Chris for 35 years, and I know how it works. Every single day you do age, you yearn for the days of old. Like an X-Men film. You're also not really into the new pleasures the youth may be into, although you also do want to keep up with the kids. So you're sort of a paradox, but you found your lane. You're going to stick to that lane, and damn it, if you want to have long hair, you're going to have long hair. And yes, you bet your ass I am totally jealous. Number 22, Sami Zayn. So he may very well be the ultimate babyface underdog, or underdog babyface. You can pick your word choice there. That actually is saying something. There's also this idea that if you don't enjoy Sami as a performer, there may be something wrong with you, because not only can he take on the bloodline and do that kind of stuff, he also had the Jackass match. At the same time, most of his peers do go, oh man, that's Sami Zayn, he's really talented. So I do have to imagine that if you do put Sami on a pedestal, you yourself are quite principled, although maybe at times you do get a little bit carried away, because there's something else that fellow superstars say in interviews. When Sami Zayn starts going, it's hard to shut him up. That is just passion though, even on occasion it does move into directness and bluntness. That is probably going to offend as many people as it delights. So just take a second and calm yourself, my friend. Do not know how people are going to take this stuff. Number 21, Kevin Owens. I mean, if we are sticking to the character, you are likely very astute, very assured of yourself, but also ready to stab every single one of your other friends in the back whenever it suits you the best. You're also very funny, have a great wardrobe, and are always ready to buck the trends. But then, yes, once again, you may find a brand new buddy before you turn your back on him again, because you didn't like what he did last week on Raw. That's the whole point, though, because you do watch all these WWE shows and wrestling shows, so you are also very aware and on the ball when it comes to wrestling tropes, and you're hilarious. You're very, very funny. You always have something incredibly unique to say. At the same time, you also have some die-hard pals that will follow you till the end. And also the thought of you without a beard is actually terrifying. You do also lose your temper a lot as well. So sometimes I really think you just need to calm down. Number 20, Jon Moxley. I mean, he's violent, intelligent, and has high standards. There is something to this guy. The big issue, though, is that you are definitely happy to commit crime and try and murder your friends for the embetterment of the human race or professional wrestling as a whole. And listen, I understand that you have the passions, but that's totally flubbed up and you should be in jail. If Mox is your guy as well, you may be a little bit antisocial, but my gosh, do you care for your work? You actually want to make a better workplace for everyone. You could also be a walking contradiction too, because while it does look like you are about to take a bag and put it over somebody's head, you also have immaculate hygiene. I didn't mean for this to happen, but I was at a show once and Jon Moxley walked past me. And yeah, he smelled as fresh as a daisy. No, I really regret telling you that. Number 19, Repo Man. If your favorite wrestler is Repo Man, you are probably bald, a little bit of an idiot, and have massive imposter syndrome. But maybe we should move on and just stop talking about this right now. You are passionate though and tenacious to a fault. maybe you have a birthmark on your head and you have traveled around the world as a professional wrestler. Maybe you host a lot of YouTube videos too. So just let me know when this joke does wear thin, much like your hairline. And really, when you do break professional wrestling like down, the best part of it is the goofy side. You're also totally astounded how so many people are so critical about this industry and seemingly have public meltdowns all of the time. But simultaneously, you don't care about that because you just want to have a good time. We shall end it there, though. Bald assholes for life. Number 18, The Rock. Just in case you forgot how much The Rock does understand pro wrestling, go back and watch his Final Boss character from 2024. Dwayne Johnson still understands how this business works. He's also basically in charge these days and also a Hollywood superstar. So I guess if you are a follower of the Great One, well, you must pretty much be the same. You're also very funny, can promo for days, and man, do you absolutely love a surprise pop, even though sometimes you should actually go for the advertising over the surprise pop, but you want those goosebumps. You'll also wear whatever the flub you want because the world can kiss your ass, and I would assume ultimately you're a massive success. I mean, Dwayne Johnson's full-time run only lasted 7 years, and he's still considered one of the best of all time. I've been doing this YouTube stuff for around about the same period, and ain't no one saying that about me. So who do you think wins this round? Number 17, Steve Austin. For many, this is the best wrestler of all time. And often I don't actually think there's an argument to be had. I mean, Steve Austin turned the Monday Night War around and took business to new heights. And people actually tuned in to see this guy. And while some people decided, I am done, when he did walk away, others became followers for life. So this is your favorite wrestler. I imagine you like the simpler things in life. Drinking beer, kicking people's ass, and telling your boss they can absolutely shove it. 80s and 90s rock music is also your thing, and somehow you can take the most peculiar phrases and make them really funny, even if you broke it down it with just a singular word. It also gives you a little bit of a strange edge, but it is that strangeness that is gonna make you so damn entertaining, so don't wash this away, my friend. In fact, dial it up to 11. Number 16, Bryan Danielson. Well, you definitely care about the environment, but there's also a secret side to you. Because Bryan himself has said this, as has a lot of his peers. He loves being a bully in the locker room. And that's not like a mean bullying. It's more of a ha-ha funny bully. But man, if he sees a target, he is going to go after it. So any opportunity you do have to wind somebody up, you're going to take it. And let's not forget that Bryan is considered by many to be the GOAT. So you probably have wonderful taste. You also may be totally aloof, because even when the world wants you to win, you're like, nah, I'm happy to lose and lose and lose. And my gosh, do you think about others? There's also one thing in your life that you just love more than anything. You can't beat that kind of passion, man. You are probably onto something. Number 15, Hulk Hogan. Well, I find it a little bit difficult to talk about Hulk Hogan these days. At least that is my vantage point. You can't pretend he didn't change the world of wrestling, though. Without him, who the flub knows where the WWF would be today? I mean, WrestleMania wouldn't have been half of the success without Hulkamania. You are definitely a romanticizer if you are still holding on to these memories, but my gosh, I hope you are still not pining for one last match. I mean, you may have had 8 back surgeries by this point, so the last thing you should be doing is slamming said back into a canvas. Hopefully it also told you not to have lust in your eyes, and that there's more to lifting weights than just vitamins and prayers. I mean, that will take you only so far, but come on now. Let's not be ridiculous. Number 14, Randy Orton. Randy Orton is a super interesting choice because in many ways, he too is one of the best of all time. Have you seen his in-ring work? Sometimes I think it may actually be perfect. Character-wise though, you have taken one of two paths. Either you remember all these terrible things that Randy has done and you enjoyed it and want to see it again, or you've just totally ignored it. I do not think these are good options. Because let's not forget that Randy back in the day was punting people in the head, wanting to kill them. And around about the same time, he was like handcuffing Stephanie McMahon and Triple H to ring ropes and doing really creepy stuff. So yeah, don't be like that. That was bad times. You also likely hear voices in your head and enjoy nothing more than hitting your friends with RKOs out of nowhere. So I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm just going to tell you, all of your buddies probably hate you. Number 13, Hangman Adam Page. I mean, where do we even start? Because Hangman Adam Page clearly is a good dude. And he's definitely worried about you. When he is worried about you, he may have a drink, and he knows he shouldn't drink, but he just wants to shut away the world of pain. However, if you do cross him, and by proxy if someone crosses you, you will have no worries about burning down their house. So once again, You are a criminal and potentially an arsonist, and you should phone the police right now. I mean, you have such a desire for chaos, I would imagine when you send text messages, it's all in lowercase. And even then, that message would end with hug emoji, heart emoji, hug emoji, heart emoji, XOXOXO. So the recipient is like, I don't know what I'm meant to do with this. I mean, is he gonna come and like be nice to me, or is he gonna stab me in the face? At the end of the day though, you don't mean to manipulate in the way that you do. Once again, it just comes from a place that you cared too much. At the same time, you really can't handle your emotions. Number 12, Swerve Strickland. Well, the first thing I can say is you really do not like the Hangman Page guys. You are definitely effortlessly cool though, and man, do you have a good sense of style. But you're also a lunatic. That's right. You have no problem breaking and entering and then bludgeoning people to death should you feel they've crossed you in some way. You also hit people with cinder blocks and then laugh, thinking that you have taken them out. And yet for some reason you do this in such a cool way, people still like you. You are most definitely a hard worker though, and man, you will take your lumps in order to get to the top. The championship belt looks damn good over your shoulder. And that's not really a personality trait, but let's face it, it's something we all want and desire. I'm going to assume that a lot of people are scared of you too though, because again, on a Monday you could be one person, on Tuesday, you could be someone totally different. Number 11, Seth Rollins. So is to the dress sense where we go first here. And yes, bless you for dancing to the beat of your own drum. Your major boast is being crazy consistent, although you do have a tendency to put yourself first. For example, if you all of a sudden deem a friend to be an obstacle in getting to the tippity top, you have no problem taking a chair and smashing them in the back. Figuratively speaking. You are so passionate that sometimes maybe you can be a little bit too loud, but you're also going to be an individual where everyone else is like, man, we didn't appreciate them when you're gone. Sounded way more morbid than I meant it to. Let's just say when you're gone from the room. There's a big chance as well that people may be annoyed by your laugh. That's because you just kind of hit weird tones with this. And yeah, you do it a lot. I don't think anyone needs to laugh that much. Number 10, the Young Bucks. I don't even care, man. When it comes to Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, they absolutely changed the wrestling business, and we wouldn't have the lay of the land we have today if it wasn't for the Bucks. They're also one of the best tag teams ever and helped usher in the new style that many people called the current style. I'm sorry, but that's a cool thing to be a part of. Therefore, if you are a follower till the end, you are probably a little bit of a disruptor, or at least walk into work every day thinking that you are going to do a little bit of disrupting. Because once again, that's just what happens. We're so desperate to be like our heroes, we try and follow suit. Sometimes it's success and sometimes it's not. I'd also assume you don't like punk music. Yes, that is a bad joke and I shouldn't have said it, and I'm sorry. But really, you keep yourself to yourself. Publicly, you don't actually say very much at all. You're also very into your family and like making ridiculous jokes on YouTubes. I can vibe with you there. Really is the best. Number 9, The Undertaker. So this is probably one of the best characters in the history of pro wrestling. I mean, you can throw other options out there, but at the very best, they're only going to be equal. So Taker fans must love zombie movies for obvious reasons, and once again, nostalgia has to be your thing. Because you don't mind the modern world, but man, do you just pang for the more edgy side of life. I'm not talking about Adam Copeland. When it comes to wrestling too, you do kind of vibe with the old school tendencies and wish it was kind of like how it once was. But then eventually you just find yourself down a rabbit hole and you have to reverse. You're also well into the spooky wookie and probably talk with your voice down here, because I think you're trying to intimidate people. It actually doesn't work outside of a wrestling ring. Number 8, Kane. Well, you most definitely don't like Christmas, because 1, you have to sit with your brother that tried to kill you as a child, and 2, the rest of your family members are going to be like, excuse me, Kane, why the hell did you choke slam the Undertaker, which is not his real name, through the grave of your parents? If you don't know, that's exactly what happened. You also make stuff up in your head because you were not actually burned as a child, but you are quite versatile. Not only can you be a scary big red machine, you're also a very capable operator of directions, or a director of operations. You will also take your mask on and off needlessly, and you like to fib about using a voice box. Don't walk around saying, this is how I need to talk. At the very least, it's borderline offensive. Number 7, Will Ospreay. So is Will Ospreay one of the best in-ring talents on the planet today? I think it's hard to argue the contrary, unless you want to be one of these people going, oh man, it's just flippy shib. You don't have to like it. That's a very reductive argument. Wrestling is all about noise, though, and Ospreay is the king at making fans lose their mind. If somebody has to come along to evolve the wrestling general in business, Right now, you probably would give it to William. He's doing things like we've never seen before. So fans most definitely be into Dragon Force and just doing things at 100 miles per hour. And when you sit down to play a video game, you probably start with Devil May Cry 5 before obviously moving on to Assassin's Creed. You also have a warm intensity to you and sometimes say silly things, but then you realize you have said a silly thing and you apologize because you're all about growing as a human being. Damn it, do I respect that. You also wear your heart on your sleeve, which is something else I can totally get behind. And in 25 years, you're probably going to be at the top of the very big mountain. Number 6, Cody Rhodes. So he is the best babyface of the century, because Cody is essentially a goody two-shoes, but you just love this guy. And I count myself among them. As such, if he is your man, I bet you're caring, I bet you think about others, but also you have this deep-rooted belief in yourself to the point you will take crazy risks because you know eventually it's going to come back with a double thumb. You also love proving people wrong. You are going to finish a story eventually, even though it is going to take a while, but man, when you get to that moment, everyone is going to feel warm and fuzzy in the tum-tum. There's also this other side to you, though, which makes people go, I think he could turn on us from nowhere, so we better keep an eye on him. And maybe you will even step on your friends in order to get to where you need to go. At least that's what somebody like Kevin Owens would say anyway. Number 5, Roman Reigns. The modern day GOAT, and good grief. Talk about overcoming adversity. Because we all remember going from the big dog and transforming into the tribal chief, where this Mother Hubbard held the WWE title for 1,316 days. So fans of him absolutely make the most of every single step they take, but they also feel like they should totally be in charge of their family. Because they would be nothing without you, and if they do get out of line, well, you will instantly go to emotional manipulation. You also love cinema and creating an aura, and you have got entrances down to a T. Like even when you walk into somebody's house, you will take at least 4 minutes. There's also a tendency to be slightly melodramatic, but that's okay, because you are about the larger-than-life stories. And again, you would too stab anyone in the back to keep your power. So in many ways, we may as well call you Julius Caesar for Triple H. Well, misunderstood is where I'm going to start here, because Triple H is awesome, and sometimes people like to forget that. You're also a big inspiration, because millions of people are going to start going to the gym because they want to look like you. But at the same time, you can be the worst person on the planet and basically become the biggest villain anyone has ever seen. And sure, maybe when you do have a prize, you refuse to let it go because you don't think anyone's going to be able to use that prize as good as you can. And you will make some odd choices here and there. Nobody needs to see you fight Vladimir from accounts for 40 years. You will do anything to get to the top as well, but eventually there will be a renaissance where people go, well, actually the stuff he's putting out now he is in charge is pretty good. So man, let's make sure we go and respect him. Your absolute best quality though is that you like big men and women slapping man meat, but you also like the flippy shib. So yep, you are all right by me. Number 3, Shawn Michaels. Well, you absolutely have taste, that's for sure. And in your younger days, you were probably like Dr. Robotnik. You had an urge for chaos. When it is time to perform on the biggest stage though, my gosh, you've got that down pat. But at the same time, you're also really good at pissing people off. You're also probably subject to people going, oh my gosh, I can't stand this modern thing, and you did it so much better, even though you were the guy in the 90s who were also leading the charge, and would actually be having that criticism thrown at them today. What? I mean, for example, if you talk to the real Shawn Michaels, there's no way he ain't a fan of somebody like Will Ospreay. If you think everybody else is an asshole too, it may actually you this being the asshole. But when you do learn this, you are going to become everybody's best friend. And you're also a pretty damn good trainer and are helping the next generation truly shine. Number 2, Bret Hart. I mean, you care, man. You really, really care. You're also fiercely loyal and immaculate technician, and your peers are going to be head over heels for you, especially because you age like fine wine. It's also fair to say that you do get stuck in the past, though, and you're really into a grudge. Eventually, you just gotta let it go, dude, because it's not helping anyone. I would bet, too, when Christmas time comes around, you still sit down with the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and that's because game knows game. Because it is the best there is, it is the best there was, and it really is the best there ever will be. Number 1, the Macho Man Randy Savage. You are flamboyant, you are colorful, you have an amazing voice, but also, at the flip of a dime, you can be absolutely bonkers. You also probably have somebody else in your life, let's call them Rulk, who is always gonna get in your way. And even though you're jumping in the corner going, pick me, I mean, you will get picked eventually, but you'll always feel like you're playing second fiddle and it's not fair. Thankfully though, when people do look back on what you have done in the past, they'll go, oh my gosh, we did not appreciate this tamale. And you will also show flashes of what your chosen industry is meant to be, because you too helped change the game. Your personal life is an absolute mess, which is a huge shame, but again, that could be overshadowed by what you do in the ring, excuse me, whatever your place of work is, and at the end of the day, everybody will remember you fondly, because you were one of the most underrated wrestlers / whatever you do's ever. That sentence didn't make any sense. So there you go, my friends. Make sure you drop me a comment below and let me know which wrestler you would be or the person you would be. I mean, none of this makes sense. I don't even know how we got here. If you like the video, share the video, and damn it, subscribe. You can also click the video on the screen to get more wrestling content from this bald idiot. That's right. Ta-da! Big surprise. But otherwise, I hope you have a terrific day, terrific week, a terrific month, a terrific year. Can't talk anymore because I'm losing my voice. I will see you soon.